Hi guys, it's Kay here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I want to share with you guys pattern drafting of cowl neck slip dress with a back cowl. So if you're interested in this tutorial, let's get started. So I've already gone ahead to draft out the basic body part. So we have the chest line, which is 8 inches. We have the bust point or the shoulder to nipple point, then we have shoulder to under bust, the half length, and finally the hip line. Now to get your hip line or hip side, you need to measure 9 inches from the half length or 8.5, average 8.5 or 9. So I'm using 9 inch for this measurement, 9 inch from the half length to get the hip line. Now I'll go ahead to just retrace that line so that you can see clearly. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my armhole and my body measurement. So I've already marked this out before, but I'll still need to retrace it so I can be seen clearly. So the armhole depth, I went in by 8.5 and just marked it out. So the next thing I need to do is to mark out my body measurement. For the bust, my bust is 34, dividing it by 4 to get the measurement, and I'll be adding 2 inches allowance. I'm actually adding my allowance on this paper, not on the material later, because you might make the mistake of actually forgetting. I've done that mistake thousands of times and it turns out bad. So I actually just add up my allowance, and this dress doesn't need a dart, so there's no need. So my armhole is 8.5. I'm going to divide it by 2 to get the midpoint, and then take it in by 1/2 inch. Then I'll curve it from the upside. You can use your French curve or whatever I use, but I'm just using a free sketch here because it's a pattern stuff. So after drawing my armhole, traced everything, next thing will be my body measurement. Like I said before, the bust to divide by 4, all the measurement divided by 4. Your shoulder to under bust is where you have your first waist, which is 28 divided by 4. Put it there, add your 2 inches allowance. Same thing for the half length line, get your measurement there, and also the hip line. So I'm going to take 6 inch from up, mark it almost close to the chest line. You can see that line there, 6 inches. I marked it. That line is really important, but we're going to leave that there first and mark out the body measurements. So the next thing I'm going to do is to slant the shoulder line, and I forgot the neckline. The wideness I went out by 4.5, and for the depth I went in by 3 inches. Now back to that line that we marked 7 inch down, we are going to cut that line, but we are not going to cut it to the end. Remember that line that I said we'll get back to? Yes, we're going to cut it out, but not to the end, so that we'll be able to open it. So the next thing I did was to place it on another paper. I placed it on top and I opened it up to 8 inches. Actually, the wideness I didn't want something too wide, but if you want your own very deep, you can go in by 8 or 15 inches based on how deep you want it to be. And I actually wanted it to be very deep, so I would have gone down by 10 to 12 inches, but for this video I went down by 8 inches, which is actually okay, but still okay. So the next thing is to just trace it out, mark it out and trace exactly the same way I did it. Then I taped it down on the paper so that I can cut it. You can use your tape, or if you don't have tape you can actually use pin. So for this particular design, I'm actually using a chiffon, which is very tricky to work with, but if you want to have a really nice outcome, I would say you go with the Duchess or the silk material. But for this dress, I'm using a chiffon. It was hard to work with, but I had to just pin it, and this is just a sample of what it's going to look like. I'm loving it already. So the next thing I went to do is to cut out the lining. The chiffon is a very light material, so I don't want body parts to be visible, so I'm just going to take the lining past my hip, like 3 inches past my hip from up. So I just cut out the lining. So the next thing now is the back side. I've gone ahead to tape back my old pattern. I removed that back piece and say close that 7 inches opening we had before. I closed it back so that we can actually now move to the back side. So for the back side, we are going with a very deep neck, so I'm going to curve it like a U down to that under bust place. The next thing now is to just cut it. The next thing now is to mark 1 inch down. You can just keep marking 1 inch down to the half length to make the slash and spread method, but I'm just marking 1 inch, just open it 1 inch from the neckline. So after marking the 1 inch, the next thing I'm going to do is to open it, but not to the end. Remember, not to the end, so that it won't cut into two. So after placing it on another paper, we are going to open it as wide as 15 inches. You need to take note of this 15 inches. In this video, I opened it as wide as 8 inches for the back, remember, not for the front. And it was not as wide as the one in the picture, because I don't want it to be that wide. But remember, 15 inches. For this, I'm just taking by 8, but we want it to get that beautiful drapings, then you have to go down by 15 inches. So the next thing I did now is to place it on my material and cut it out. Remember, it's a chiffon, so I'm being really careful when cutting it out. But like I said, you can use your silk or your Duchess material to have that simple, and it's actually easier to work with. So guys, that's actually all for the pattern drafting of this silk cowl neckline dress. Thank you for actually staying to this point. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And I also love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to actually get more pattern drafting videos like this, and actually beautiful sewing tutorials too. And please also don't forget to tell me where you're watching from so that I can give you some love in my next video. If you have any questions on this particular tutorial, you can leave the question in the comment section and I will answer you ASAP. Bye guys, see you in my next video.